Yo guys, this is Reinhardt, this is your favorite Russian talking, and today we're gonna be talking about Warlocks, and two different specs for Warlocks. One is Soulburn Hunt and Demonic Servitude. The playstyle is different for two of those, but I don't think it's different enough to request two different videos for that. So for the sake of saving time and progressing with more videos in the future, this will combine those two videos together. So we have one video which is a Soulburn Hunt. Essentially what Soulburn Hunt does, it actually empowers your dot damage by 20% for 30 seconds. It's actually pretty strong. So you apply all your dots and then you cast Hunt. You get your main single target damage, relatively great pressure as well, but then if you wanna off dot anything, you're gonna have to manually dot everything else as well. So what it does is actually, first of all, it's a higher skill cap because you have to apply multiple dots at the same time. But on the other hand, you are going to see more damage coming out as well. So in that sense, I kinda like this playstyle. I like the depths of it because you will mainly hardcast your dots. Why you're gonna have to hardcast your dots is because most of your soul shots are actually gonna go to Soulburn Empowerment. So in that sense it will provide more single target damage with a Hunt. It will actually do more spread damage because of the dots, but it will require cast all the dots. So what happens is, if we get really trained by melee cliffs, this might not be the best talents to go, simply put because we might not get a lot of casts off. So the alternative spec for it will be Demonic Servitude. But before we're gonna go to that, we need to get out of the combat and I need to make a quick commercial. In the world where Cataclysm was a very shitty PvP expansion, Cataclysm talent follows its predecessor and also is a very shit talent. Alright, that was my advertising voice. Let's go to Demonic Servitude now. So Demonic Servitude, you summon your Terror Guard. In that sense, Terror Guard actually hits like a truck. It's equivalent to Gargoyle, that's how strong he is. He actually does 10k damage. All your dots every 3 seconds or so tick for roughly about 10k damage. Well, guess what? Terror Guard actually kind of matches that. So the damage from Terror Guard is relatively big. But on the other hand, it is castable, so it can be shut down very easily. It can be interrupted easily, and people can just swap to Terror Guard as well. What is the utility kit of a Terror Guard? Terror Guard himself is actually spell lock and also a 4-second root. And I think they're actually fondling with it a little bit. It's a 4-second root, it was an 80% snare, and so on and so forth. But for Affliction root, it's like a godsend because Affliction gets shut down by melee. So while Terror Guard does his main damage on the main target, and you have to control your pet like there's no tomorrow, the Terror Guard will be missing offensive dispel compared to your Octopussy. But on the other hand, you actually, even though your dots will do less damage, you can effectively actually soul swap them. Why? Because you no longer have to spend two soul shards to actually swap your things. While I just use 3 soul shards and have dots on all 3 targets with only 2 castable times casts, 1 for Hunt and 3 soul swaps, where I would have used already 2 soul shards for just the Hunt itself. So in that sense, with the Terror Guard, you will spread more dots easily because you can soul swap, but they will do less damage. So the spread pressure, the possibility of a spread pressure with the Soulburn Hunt is actually very strong, but you'll have to cast all of those spells. The single target potential with a Terror Guard and your dots and your Hunt is also extremely strong, and you get a little bit more leeway in terms of casting. Those are the 2 specs. Those are 2 main differences. When it comes to prioritizing your stats, I will need to look into it as well. Why? Because Terror Guard does scale with your haste, but I believe it doesn't scale with your master. At least it doesn't say so. On top of it, I need to see which stat actually works the best right now in PvP. Fully spec'd, fully buffed Terror God actually will probably crit up to 20 to 22k in PP, and that is actually pretty huge. So, with that said, you have two different specs to play with. Next video I'm gonna make is gonna be actually talking about Warlock talents and Warlock glyphs, the synergy between those two, and the situational uses for those as well. For now, this video is done. Thanks a lot for watching, my friends, and do svidania.